Hey guys, Kevin Shaw here, Editor-in-Chief of the Watercraft Journal. Today I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because I was initially here to make a comparison between how Sea-Doo and Kawasaki likes to address and provide solutions for bringing a cooler with you out on the water. First, I do think it's important to address that although these two machines are very different, and you might remember them from our shootout that we did a couple months ago at the time of this filming, as we had the 2023 Kawasaki Ultra 160 LXS and the 2023 Sea-Doo GTX 170. First, obviously, as you can see, the Sea-Doo does not have the Fish Pro deck or the deck extension that's now available through the parts and accessories catalog. But our Ultra does have the Ultra deck, which also has their multi-mount system on it. That's important to note because without the multi-mount system, you're simply not going to be able to attach Kawasaki's cargo rack. Conversely, it doesn't matter whether you have the Fish Pro deck or the Explorer deck on the back of your GTX. Every single watercraft from Sea-Doo now has the LinQ accessory system, which was first introduced on Sea-Doos back in 2018. Now, it's important to note that BRP has a full team dedicated to the LinQ accessory product line. That's not like Yamaha, and that's certainly not like Kawasaki. There is a lot of time and engineering and testing that goes into Sea-Doo's LinQ accessories. And that's why they've got many, many pages in their catalog dedicated to LinQ accessories. And the more time we spent with the Kawasaki cargo rack and its multi-mount system, the more we knew that Sea-Doo is simply killing everyone when it comes to offering a variety of products that are easy to use, well built, and certainly tested out on the water. Now, as I said, the LinQ system was first introduced for Sea-Doo back in 2018 when they first introduced the ST3 platform. Of course, the Sea-Doo was not the first to get it. It first showed up on the Ski-Doo snowmobiles and then later on the Can-Ams. Sea-Doo got it in 2018, but since its introduction, it's remained one of the easiest to use of any cargo systems. You simply slide it into the latches, you hit your lock, and now it's as durable as possible. What we've got here is the 4.2 gallon cooler. It's one of the first ones that they introduced, as well as a fuel caddy and storage bag. Since that time, they've gone to the big 13.5 gallon Fish Pro cooler, larger cargo bags, the big Explorer Pro bag, and lots of different hard cases, soft cases, larger fuel caddies. Again, the accessory catalog is ginormous when it comes to the LinQ accessories, but they all retain the same system that goes on all watercraft. Even the Sparks now have the same drop-down LinQ system. They're all identical, and they all share the same mounting system that slides in and has a very easy to use lock that comes in and it locks it and you're ready to go. And of course, the best thing is that if you're out on the water, even if it's rough out there, you can turn around, you can pull up on the tabs, and you can get yourself a drink. And if you have the Fish Pro cooler, you can even grab bait, and they have the live well. If you have live bait, it really is super useful to use, and it's well built, it's durable. We really do love it. We've used these every year we've had a new Sea-Doo. They've been fantastic for us, and they really are idiot proof. And again, most importantly, you can use them out on the water. So now we get the question of what exactly are we getting when you opt for a Kawasaki with the Ultra deck. Now, the Ultra deck is not available on the STX platforms. It's solely for the Ultra, and more importantly, the only Ultra that does not come with the Ultra deck is the stripped down performance bred 310X. What do you get out of this Ultra Deck? Obviously, you're going to get their multi-mount system. That is a embossed track system, but you also have the option of purchasing the Ultra Cargo Rack. The Ultra Cargo Rack consists of 2 preformed plastic sides and these aluminized powder-coated rails. So what do you get for $410? The cargo rack itself comes disassembled, so you're going to have to assemble it yourself. It requires some Allen screws, and it does come with the mounting hardware to mount it onto the multi-mount system. Then it also comes with the option of the Rotopax mounts if you have Rotopax gas cans, which you'll need to buy separately, and it does come with the cargo net. Unfortunately, what we found is that the cargo net does not hold any tension. Worst of all, it doesn't fit the actual cargo rack itself. If you have a cooler, it does not hold the cooler on straight. It does not hold it down. It does not keep the cooler from sloshing side to side. Worst of all, it doesn't hold any tension. You pull on this and it comes completely undone. None of the straps have the proper embossing that normally come with any sort of strap like this to keep it from sliding out. In our testing, we found the cargo rack was simply such a bad decision, such an afterthought. It does not hold any tension. These straps come undone at the slightest tug. And if you want to actually open up your cooler and grab a drink, you have to unlatch the front of it, flip this over into the water, possibly with your jet pump running, and then open up the cooler, flip it open, and when you do, you'll find that the cooler actually wants to tip almost completely out of the ski. If you're in rough water, you could lose your whole cooler very, very quickly. This cooler is $360 on top of the $410 for the rack. So this entire package is $770. Again, in our evaluation, we're looking for security. We're looking for something that's not going to cause any undue damage to the back of our watercraft. We're also looking for something that is not going to bob around, not break loose, not spill out in the rough water. Because again, you're going to be out in rough water whether you like it or not, or whether you plan for it or not. Rough water happens, and there's no security in this at all. I hate to be so critical, but it was very obvious in our testing that Kawasaki did no evaluation testing on this setup. They clearly did not test how this cargo net works. There's no way. This is honestly an insult to anyone who wants to bring any sort of cargo. God help you if you want to bring gas with you and you live and die by bringing gas with you if you're going on a long distance. That cargo net is an insult. This is a great cooler and it's a great offering. The cargo rack is a good start. It has rod holders integrated in it. You can use the Rotopax mounts on the side. That's great. But we're going to get into something that's a little bit more pernicious. We're going to get into something that honestly is the final nail in the coffin, and that is their choice of hardware. Amazingly enough, Kawasaki thought it would be okay to have exposed metal hardware. Now, mind you, it is stainless, which is nice, but exposed metal hardware poking up out of the rack on the back of the reboarding platform. These get hot. These can cut and burn your feet. If you've got kids who are jumping off and coming back on, this is exposed hardware that can cut soft skin. I cannot believe that they allowed this to pass through any sort of testing. This is absolutely unacceptable for something that is designed for a family to use. I was appalled when I saw this. And I have kids who ride with me every time I go out. And they like to jump off, they like to swim, they have a good time. And when they reboard, they have to climb around the cooler, either over it or around it. And they're gonna wanna put their feet in here. And guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna catch their toes right on these exposed threads. So how is the rack mounted? How are you expected to install the rack, and how are you expected to take it off? Take your cargo net off, pull your cooler out. This leaves the entire rack here exposed. You'll notice there's nothing underneath to support the cooler or gas cans or anything else that you bring with you. It is simply the HydroTurf on the back of the deck. So this will still get beaten up. The rack does nothing but simply try to keep it in place. And as we illustrated, it doesn't do that very well either. It'll allow the cooler to shuffle around. It will allow your gas cans to slop around. It really is not a good, tight-fitting cargo rack. Pulling this off requires a socket wrench with a 17mm socket. The tracks, although it looks like you have a lot of mobility to adjust where you want the cargo rack, because of the handrails and the actual size of the cargo rack, you're only allowed maybe a 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of adjustability to move it forward or move it back. These slide out. These do get full of debris if you're not covered. You will want to keep them nice and clean. These stainless pieces of hardware, these are the blocks that are grooved to slide up and down the tracks. And this is the hardware that they choose to sell the rack with. And this is how it's mounted down. Unfortunately, like I said, it's exposed hardware, it gets hot, and worst of all, it can cut your skin. These are sharp edges, these are sharp threads. You can cut toes, you can snag your toes on this, snag a toenail on this. It's not good. I can't believe that they offered this. I'm sorry to be so harsh, but it really is such a poorly thought out system. The Orca cooler itself is incredibly well built, has the Kawasaki logo on it, is really a neat American made cooler. It's very sturdy, it's well built. It's got rubberized feet on the bottom, which are nice. And these are all, again, very well built. It is a 40-quart cooler, has these nice sturdy hand grips that you can grab and pick up. And more importantly, if you are using it for fishing or just need the extra cargo, it has a nice cargo net on the back with a Velcro attachment. Again, it's a very nice piece, and you are going to pay for it. It's $360. But it's amazing that even with this cooler all set up and ready to go, they couldn't make a cargo rack that would fit it flush so that it wouldn't flop side to side or back and forth, and it wouldn't potentially roll out of the cargo rack. So at the end of this, I think it's fair to say this is less of a comparison and truly more of a cry to Kawasaki to please take a moment to reevaluate your cargo system. So hopefully Kawasaki can take an opportunity to reevaluate their offering to this market. These are people who do want to pack for the long haul. They want to bring extra gas and food, and they want to be able to access this stuff out on the water, not on a beach or on the trailer. And unfortunately, this current setup is not useful out on the water. It is not accessible. And to the idea that Sea-Doo allows you to take the cooler off and walk up the beach, or to bring extra fuel and to pick up the fuel and pour it in the tank. There's so much utility to the LinQ system that it's difficult to look at these separately. We really have to look at the Kawasaki offering as a competitor to that, and if we are to make these competitors, this is well behind what Sea-Doo has brought to the table. So hopefully this review has been a little enlightening, a little eye-opening to many of you. And if you enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, share your thoughts. I'm sure a lot of you are going to have thoughts about this, and we'll go forward from there. But if you did like this video, again, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment, share what you thought, and maybe share this video with your friends so that we can get the word out. And if you want more awesome jet ski content, please make sure to visit us over at www.watercraftjournal.com, where new articles are written and published every single day, Monday through Friday, entirely subscription free to you. We'll see you there.